Hi there again. I decided to go to Amsterdam after all, and I started this video a few times. I have only about, like say, 10 minutes of videotape, and I'm walking towards the dam right now. So I may be talking, maybe not. I'll just keep it sparse. Just as an experiment, and of course there's not much to see if it's so dark, but on this side, by the way, it's much more. Yeah, this is the Grand Hotel in Amsterdam, which you cannot see because it's too dark. But anyway, to me it appears that the situation is becoming increasingly convoluted in terms of energy supply, especially when America wants to make a claim to the energy that is in Libya, which is at the moment mainly flowing to Europe, not to America at all. In the end, the only thing that can lead to is real conflict, is real war, and that's worrisome. In the meantime, as that type of war wages, it will mean that Europe will be cut off of a lot of its oil and will not be able to recover. As people say, the word recover is basically a misleading term because it implies that it's possible to recover. But of course, these days it's not possible, because it's about energy. I hope the sound is right. I think the images are interesting. I'm going to walk towards the dam, which is over there. Trying not to be hit by bicycles. So maybe this is... I'm walking towards the dam right now. I'm going to try to cross the dam, give you a little view of it, and then walk towards the stock exchange and show you the tents of the Occupy Wall Street equivalent of Amsterdam. I hope I don't get into a fight with anybody that hates cameras. I think the problem with the world is that there's all this positioning in terms of oil supply, and it will only go right for so long. It will only go right until some of the armies decide that enough is enough, that you really cannot, as America, control the oil from Libya, because it's closer to Europe than to the US, and it's used by Europe mainly. So if Europe decides to cut Europe off from Libya's oil, then that would be an act of war. And well, if they just deployed 12,000 Americans in Libya, they're not deploying them to protect European interests, clearly. So what's going to happen? And I think that's the weird thing about this is the dam, about modern society, is that there's so much interest in keeping things going, in keeping the status quo, that you really wouldn't know that there was a war on until it was actually on. Until basically somebody cut off the oil from Libya to Italy to Ireland to all the other countries in Europe that the oil is going, and everybody would be desperate suddenly. I think that's going to be the scenario. It's going to be a sudden awakening of the majority of people to the fact that the resources they rely on are in such a short supply that people are hoarding them and are dominating them. The dam is the color is not very nice here. It's a little bit bleak. Right about where I stand at the moment, an Iranian immigrant burned himself alive last year and died in the hospital because he was basically fed up with the process of legal integration and legal hassle that he had to go through in order to become a Dutch citizen, which can take years, and which also has led to a court case and a whole media spectacle last summer about an African boy, and now again it's about a concierge at a school, an Afghan one, that is just completely used to Holland and is threatened with eviction from our country, repatriation to his home country. I hope I'll have some, and we worry about that. We think that's ridiculous, and it's actually ridiculous because we need the manpower. We need young people, so we should never try to get rid of any foreigner actually, because we're all growing old. I'm going to the area where the stock exchange is. You'll get a little gleam of the people there. I tried to talk to them earlier, and they made me wait for about 5 minutes, and then I left. And one woman and a guy decided that he had to change the music. So it's really a ridiculous enterprise, the whole Occupy Amsterdam. I think the only thing that really works is prosecuting the people that are responsible and providing a solution. So that means that you have to think outside current economical frameworks, because current economical frameworks are carbon credit framework. So that you basically rely on the supply of raw materials in order to keep your economy going, and then you create as much money as needed in order to purchase those raw materials and use them. That story just doesn't work anymore. You have to produce your own raw materials. You have to own them. You have to control them, and otherwise you'll be shit out of luck and completely fucked. That's basically the story, and that's a change in mentality. And that means that you cannot be a rich banker in Amsterdam and a happy camper. You have to do something else. I'll just walk around this whole thing. I got some remarks that I couldn't film earlier. So they have a little machine that is making electricity. And then they have this really, the war you don't see. Well, I see it. People are interested in it. Talk to these people. Maybe I'll talk to them. I'm not sure. So there's a little Christmas hut. And here's the signal that my tape is ending. And then there's a tent. Hoi, we have an Occupy Amsterdam.
Ja.
Are you from Occupy? Could you tell something about it?
Ja. Waar ben jij van?
Ik heb een camera en een website.
Okay.
So, are you achieving anything?
Yeah, we do. A lot. Awareness.
What are you achieving?
A lot of awareness already made and a lot of support for people who feel like frustrated about the situation, and people can do something about it through Occupy. So,
what you like to be the people to be most aware of?
The way it's working now in the world, and that's not fair.
Well, what are you talking about specifically then?
Well, we're not for nothing here in the stock market.
So what do you want? Would you like to change in the stock market?
Well, the system, people behind the system, maybe we should
so you
be
want to
more
abolish
aware.
It, or what do you want to do?
Well, it's not up to me, like what we are gonna do.
Well, why not? Because you're here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here, and I said already, it started with awareness, and from there you already can see things are now developing.
So who would you like to react? If you're making people aware, then you probably want people to react.
Yeah.
Who would you like to react?
It's not up to me. It's like we're all together, and this awareness should make people moving in the right direction, whatever that will be.
Good, thanks. But do you live here or something? Or
What's that?
do you live here? Or?
Live here? What do you mean? Live in the city?
You stay in the tents? Or?
No. I'm working here. Live there, working here.
You work here?
Demonstrate here, activate here. But if I'm here, I'm doing something. It's not that I'm sleeping here.
Where do you get your funds to do this?
I'm self-employed, so.
Are you self-unemployed?
I'm self-employed, so. Whatever.
Okay.
So I can make my own time and decide whenever I'm here.
And do you know about the guys that occupied the ING bank recently, a few weeks ago? Mm-hmm. You know those guys?
I wasn't here, so I cannot tell a lot about it.
Basically breaking the law. What do you think about that?
It's everybody's own choice how to occupy stuff, I think. It's like they make their statement that way.
What do you would like me to do?
Find your passion and do that. I cannot figure out
my passion might be stock markets.
Yeah, well, if that is, go ahead to try.
How can you be occupied?
And try to make the system from inside out different.
But I have to make money first.
Well, probably if you're in the
As a
stock
moral.
market, you do. It's still the system. We have to go through it.
Really? We have to?
We have to go through that system still, isn't it?
Do you think?
Well, it's still there, so yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're not about breaking it down or something?
No, I don't think we should break things down before we
Things?
have new
But it-
things.
Yeah.
It's like it's a little bit crazy. We're still all working through the system and through the money system. So, well,
So
if
what's your alternative?
I had none. It's not. And
Damn,
how
you
can
have
you
all this
ask
time.
me? Well, I think it's not up to
Why
one
not?
person or up to Occupy to come with solutions. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Okay. Can I
So
use this
it's
on my
just-
website, by the way?
Sure, go
Okay.
ahead. It's just moving in another direction we are going now. I think that's already.
So who's the guy that knows where to go? Or the girl?
Would it be a
the
guy?
woman, or the woman?
I'm not sure if that's one particular. I think if the awareness is raising, maybe we all think it can be different.
So you don't know. You have
Well,
like
we don't
an
know
example?
what direction we are hitting, but I'm sure we're now hitting in the wrong direction.
That's
So join us. Let's us hit
Yeah, but
together.
I'd like to have a goal. I like.
A better world,
goals.
isn't that a beautiful goal?
Yeah, but
Okay.
then that's not very concrete.
Yeah, but that's the beautiful part of Occupy. You can make your own goal out of it.
So it's like a hobby club.
Yeah, why not? It's a good example. It's a good example. There's a book called The Hobby Club, and it's also like a little community. And
well,
well,
maybe
if
it's
you read it, most beautiful things existed from that. So,
I ran out of tape.
oh, good. There we